everybody, welcome to Real Brave Lessons. My name is Dan, and I'm joined here with Nick, who is just playing something pretty incredible. Nick, thank you for joining us today for Guitar Lessons 3. And I'm going to throw this up on the screen, which looks to be a D minor chord. There we go. So
all right,
the mystery of the D minor chord is going to happen
we're
just now.
not going to get to that quite yet, but got a couple other things to tend to. But yeah, happy to be here. Glad to be back. To anyone watching this, I hope you've enjoyed practicing those first couple chords we learned. In the last video, we worked on E minor, C major, and A minor. And we were taking a look at how to put those into Truth Hurts by Lizzo. Was it? So yeah, it was C major to A minor. And it basically just goes back and forth between those for a little while. But I really wanted to do a song with you guys that uses all three chords that we know. And one song that does this is Bodak Yellow by Cardi B. And this is a fun one. The order of chords here is E minor, A minor, and then you go back to E minor. Remember, this is just the open string one, so it's nice and easy. And then C major. And yeah, the way we want to work on putting this together, there shouldn't be too hard since we already have A minor and C major from Truth Hurts. It's just to play them really slowly and kind of gradually work your speed up. Like we talked about with the Lizzo song, like you don't want to get impatient. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to get frustrated. Just play them maybe down here. Give yourself plenty of time. Like let your hands find where they need to be. 2, 3, 4, that's my quarter note. 2, 3, 4. And if I'm learning something new, I'll kind of just sit here for a while, 3, 4, and work on keeping that count in my head. Or, I can tap my foot, 3 and 4, and slowly start getting faster, 4, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2. By the way, what I'm doing here is called subdividing. It's where you're making the beat smaller without actually getting faster. So I can count this 3, 4 in quarter notes. 2, that's just your 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 and 3, 4, back to C major. And now we're going to restart. Or I can count it 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Putting those ands in there. 3 and 4, that's called eighth notes. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2, getting a little faster. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 3 and 4 and 1. Just remember to breathe. And 3 and 4 and 1. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2, 3, 4. So yeah, if you feel comfortable, if you weren't already doing this, you should go back and pick up your guitar and try playing along with that and just listen to where I'm counting. I think I might maybe, hopefully visibly, was like bobbing my head, so you can use that to follow the beat. And yeah, again, we just work up the tempo like this before we even play with the song. And yeah, so as I'm saying right now, playing it with the song, I think, is the best way and probably the most fun way to practice something like this. We can't put the song up right now, but what I can do is I can play, there's this melody that's kind of just like looping throughout the whole thing. It's a little more staccato in the song, I think. If you heard the song, you should recognize this. So the way the chords link up to this would be 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E minor, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 4, E minor, C major, E minor, A minor, E minor, C major. So I'll just keep playing that, and maybe you can try playing along to this as well if you're feeling ready to go at that speed. Maybe I'll bring it down just tiny bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor, E minor, C major, E minor, A minor, E minor, C major. Keep going. There you go. I made a small mistake somewhere in there, but hopefully you were able to follow along with that. So yeah, playing with like the looped melody like that or with the actual song are really great ways to work on keeping time. And I found that that's one of the trickiest things to get when you're like first starting out and the neck still feels kind of foreign, and you know you're still putting a lot of brain power into actually just like getting to each chord and remembering how your hands work in that way. Something that gets lost or falls by the wayside is your time, is your rhythm. And I would argue that nothing is more important than that. You can be playing every chord perfectly, getting nice like resonance, getting a good tone, but if your time is bad, it doesn't matter. It's gonna sound bad. No one's gonna wanna listen to it, no one's gonna wanna dance to it. So playing with the actual song, or even better, playing with people, like live people in front of you, hopefully one day we can do that again, that is the way to get your music to like feel good. So if you're working on it like that, you are ahead of the curve. So yeah, that's Bodak Yellow, Cardi B. Those 4 chords just loop for the entire song. And I think it's like 4 or 5 minutes, which is on the longer side. So you have plenty of time to enjoy those 4 chords. So yeah, now we've got 2 songs that use all 3 of the chords that we know. So why not learn one more? And the next one that I want to do is a fun challenge. This one's it's a little trickier, so no worries if you don't get it right away while you're watching this video. The chord is called D minor. So maybe we can get that on screen again real quick. Awesome, yes. It's your D minor. So the reason this is tricky is because you're jumping right up to using 3 fingers at once. If you already got that from just looking at the chart, kudos to you. So yeah, if you want like a close-up of what that looks like, here is my hand playing a D minor. You can actually, for this note right here, you can use either your pinky or your 3rd finger. Doesn't actually really matter. Depends on what's most comfortable for you and maybe like what chord you're coming from or going to afterward will help you kind of determine which one makes more sense to use. I kind of instinctively use my pinky. I don't totally know why. But yeah, so what you want to do is first off, have your 1st finger on the 1st fret of your high E string. So it'll sound like that. You can see that on the chart. And then you take either your 3rd finger or your pinky. Maybe try it with your pinky. On the 3rd fret of the B string. I say try it with your pinky so you can kind of follow along with what I'm doing. So yeah, 3rd finger of the B string. And maybe try to start out just like playing those 2 notes. Remember, as we talked about in the last lesson, with the C major especially, is you really want to think about your wrist, make sure it's nice and relaxed. Think about your fingers, make sure that they're arched and you're coming down right on the tip. Because if they're not, you're going to get this. You don't want that. You want both notes to ring out nice and loud. Once you have those two, you go to the second fret on the G string, which should sound like this. And then you're going to add a fourth string. You're going to add your open D. So now we have these notes. And yeah, to just kind of, before we do anything, before we try to put it into a song, I think, as we did last time, it's good to just sort of take a second to absorb the chord, absorb the sound of it. So, you can try picking through it, which if you're like me and your guitar needs new strings and the intonation is a little off, this is a great way to notice that and hear the little imperfections in your sound. So sorry that it sounds like my guitar is a little bit out of tune right now, because it is. And then you can go backwards. Again, all we want to do is just appreciate the sound of this chord and really get it to sink into our brains. And our hands. So yeah, once you go up and down, you can start mixing up the order. So I definitely encourage you, if you're watching, not to skimp on that part, not to skip that part and try to go right to playing it in the song. I encourage you to, take some time to appreciate the sound, especially now that we have this slightly lower string. If you're playing on an acoustic guitar like I am, you can, and it's against your chest, you can feel the vibration. And honestly, the more you play, the more you'll be able to, start to recognize those vibrations in your chest and actually be able to associate them with certain kind of chords. I know it sounds a little weird, but trust me, if I'm playing with my eyes closed and I go to random fingers, I can tell exactly what I'm playing, even if I didn't have feeling in my hands. So yeah, important stuff. And once we have that D minor chord, we can think about what song this might go into. So the song that I picked for today is a song that I've taught to several students and several students on Practice Pad. So as we always say, if you sign up for Practice Pad, you will get access to a bunch of video tutorials that I have made about this song specifically. But for now, the song is called Levitating. It's by Dua Lipa. And I'll let you know, the actual song, to play it like this, you're going to want a capo if you want to play it with the song. Capo looks like this. It almost kind of looks and feels like one of those finger strength, a little workout tool for your hand or something. I guess you could use it like that. That is not technically what it is for. What you do is you open it up and you will put it, in this case, on your second fret. And basically what it does is it makes the open string sound come up to your second fret. So it's just shortening the neck of the guitar. So now, if I just strum the strings, it's playing the second fret. That way I can do, like my C major chord up here. So it would technically become a D major chord. You get the idea. Again, to play it in the key that the actual song is in, we're going to need a capo. If you don't have a capo on hand right now, that is totally okay. You can actually just play them in your normal, what we call open position without the capo. It won't sound the way that it does in the song, so you might not want to play it with the song without the capo. But you can certainly practice it and get the chords under your hands. And then once you do get a capo, you'll just play the same thing up here, and then you're good to go. So yeah, the chords for this song, regardless of capo or no, are your A minor shape, your E minor shape, your D minor shape, and then back to your A minor shape. So the groove that we have here, you want your pick. Again, make sure you're holding it between your thumb and your first finger. You got your rest of your fingers relaxed. We have A minor, D minor, back to A minor. And the chord note here is 1, 4, and 1. What am I doing? 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 and 3, 4. So the way to break this down is we're playing each chord for 2 beats over what we call a measure of 4/4. That just means there are 4 quarter notes in the measure. And yeah, another word for a note that's held for 2 beats is a half note. Knowledge that could come in handy at some point. So half note, 4, 1, 2, 3. Let's slow it down. 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, and a 3, 4. Even slower. 3, 4. So this, if you got your guitar with you, maybe you can try playing along with it. And 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Quick aside, one thing that I work on with my students a lot is like noticing the similarities between chords. I'm just going to get you nice and close up here. So your trickiest chord here is obviously going to be D minor. That's both the new one and just has the most going on. So the nice thing about this, even though there's a lot going on here, is it looks pretty similar to your A minor. Your second finger is actually not moving at all. It's in the same place. And your pinky's coming off, and your first finger is just going to move over 1 string. So first fret here for D minor. Watch my first finger. So if you're having any kind of trouble with playing all 4 chords, you might actually want to stop and just focus on moving your D minor and your A minor back and forth. Again, nice and slow, giving your brain plenty of time. Plenty of time to think about these chords. You don't have to do the finger picking that I was doing. You can if you like. But, and then also, I suppose, practicing going between your E minor and D minor. This is the kind of thing where you can just have your fingers, when you're playing your E minor, you can just have your fingers almost like in your D minor shape, hovering over the frets that they're going to go on. So it's just at the ready. Sometimes I notice a lot of students early on, if they're going from A minor to E minor, they'll do what I call starfishing the hand, which is where when you're playing open strings, you go, bark! All your fingers have to come all the way over here, away from the neck. It's like your hand's exploding. And then when you have to go back to your D minor, you're like, oh God, where is it? I don't know. Instead of all that, you can save a lot of time and energy. Play your A minor, and then just barely lift your fingers away from the neck. Keep them in that D minor shape. Oh, except do it better than I did. There you go. So you can just drop them right on. E minor, D minor, E minor, D minor. And if you look closely, you can see that it actually barely looks like my hand is changing. I'm just lifting it and then putting it back down. And then, as we said before, your A minor, you just shift your finger over and take your pinky off. So I'm going to play this a couple more times, nice and slow. I'm actually going to take my capo off and play it down here. So this is the non-capo key. So again, if you don't have a capo, it'll sound like this, and that's totally cool. Feel free to practice it along with me right now. And then order a capo or go to your local guitar store and pick one up. They're like $5, and then you can play with the song. So here we go. I'm going to count us off. We're going to take it at a nice, easy tempo. And once we get that, you will officially know 3 songs and 4 chords on guitar. That's pretty cool if you ask me. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2. Oh, I messed up. We're on D minor. Back to the top. Just remember that the last chord and the first chord are A minor. So you have to play A minor twice in a row. Do it a couple more times. I'm also realizing as I go that when I play E minor sometimes, I actually put my hand over here, like kind of under the neck, like that. I'm sort of reflexively doing that just to make it clear over video that I'm playing all open strings. You should just do this like we talked about. Just hover your hand. Because you don't have to make this clear over video to anyone. You just have to make it sound. One more time. And there you go. So that is a really nice 4-chord song, Levitating by Dua Lipa. Like I said, I've been I got a couple requests to teach that song, so I've been teaching it to a bunch of students, and that one's a ton of fun. So yeah, please, I hope you enjoy.
No, it's great, and hearing you practice the chords reminds me why I put up that graphic. You know, you take time in your take time in finding a direction. Pick a song that you want to learn, find the chords to it, right? This is a really good beginner kind of approach, and take considered effort and just finding the chord shapes, slowly change between them, and you'd be surprised over time how, yeah, I mean, even those 3 chords, you said it was 4, a couple songs that you were talking about. I mean, there's many songs with those chords in it, so
yeah.
Sometimes you could just hold the chord shapes and be able to just pick each note out of the chord shapes. It's pretty interesting indeed, and it was a really good. There was a really good session. I think we got a lot out of that. I think I'm really enjoying the hand drawn chord shapes as well.
Yeah, I've got the color coordination. I also just want to link off something you just said. You said that this was a good beginner technique, and it definitely is in terms of learning a song. But I would argue that it's also a very good advanced technique or any level, and the only thing that changes is what you're playing. I mean, when I have something really tricky to learn, like last week, I was just for my own whatever, I was writing this etude based off of an old jazz standard called All the Things You Are, where what I was doing was I was actually taking the chords and kind of reharmonizing them, trying to challenge myself to see what sort of weird guitar shapes I could come up with that corresponded to the melody. And came up with some pretty hard stuff, a lot of like
that's advanced.
Weird stretchy shapes. And this was exactly how I practiced that. I would slow it down to 20% of the actual speed and just spend hours and try to play with my breath, give myself lots of time. So my point being is that the method shouldn't ever change. If it works, it works. All that's going to change is that as you practice more and more, you can do more and more interesting and complicated things. Not that complicated always means interesting, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you will surprise yourself. You'll pretty quickly be able to do things that I would bet you didn't think you were able to do on an instrument like this before.
I agree. And it's a really good point, actually, what you said, bringing up that it can be advanced technique as well to practice those chords, and I concur totally. Anything to round off this lesson, Nick?
No, I think we're good. You got E minor, you got C, you got A minor, you got D minor, you got 3 songs and a bunch of different ways to practice them. So I would say if you're watching this, you just keep practicing, keep enjoying, and tune in next week for probably another chord and another song.
Excellent. Okay, great. So this has been Real Brave Lessons, Guitar Lessons 3, and we're happy that a couple of people actually joined us in the live broadcast. That was pretty cool to see some of those comments. Or comments. I didn't put them up on the screen, but I'm glad that people are enjoying it and taking part. So I hope it's providing value for you to learn the instrument. Well, Nick, we'll see you next time on this one, and everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Have a great day.